Imagine having children, taking care of your kids for years, only for you to find out years later that they are not your biological children. That is the worst thing that you can ever do to a man. And the problem with the Nigerian law is that I don't see any punishment to people who has committed paternity fraud. And that's very, 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 very concerning.
Muyi Magana, Chekasoro, Kayiko, Cool, and you all are welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you very much for coming back. This is Lillian, your host for today, and with my co-host,
hello,
Blessing
Akane.
So on today's topic, we're talking about the evil of paternity fraud. The thing is, we talk about it a lot on social media, and I can tell you for a fact that it contributes to the high rate of suicide amongst men. This is the reason why you see so many of them acting very angry, because queasy, like and there are so many things that attribute to these things that I would like us to talk about today, and then the issues, how to go about it. Babe, what do you think?
Okay, first and foremost, I think paternity fraud should have like a sentencing or something. Like there should be a law regarding paternity fraud. I feel like most men harbor kids that are not theirs, especially this generation and few generations back. If we're being honest, I would say between 40 to 60, 40% their kids are not theirs, then 60% probably their kids are theirs. And it could be for some very deep reasons and sometimes just very unreasonable reasons. Let's take for instance, one of the unreasonable things I would say could lead to paternity fraud is this. The woman you're getting married to happened to get entangled with somebody else, and eventually she was supposed to like probably get married to you, and then she was pregnant during the entanglement with somebody else, and she probably had no idea. And then because she loves you way too much and wouldn't want to let you go, she decides, okay, since this pregnancy is still pretty young and not protruding at the moment, let me just cling it onto this man and just make him feel like the kid is his. So that could be one unreasonable thing. Then for some cases, probably because the man might be impotent, yeah, and then the woman who happens to find out that, okay, my husband is impotent, because sometimes not every man will be bold enough to tell their wife that, hey, I'm impotent and I can't, bear children, or I can't, my sperm is not strong enough to give us kids. Some women must have probably find out secretly, and and are looking for an alternative, and they probably have something like an entanglement with somebody else, and then boom, they are pregnant. But the funny thing is, most of the times these men might know that is if it is this kind of situation that has happened, but because they are not confident enough to want to tell their wives. You said what?
If they are aware that their wives went out when they are impotent, then it's no longer fraud.
How?
Fraud is when you are unaware that this, like, they're impotent. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you are impotent, and everybody knows you are impotent. Your wife and yourself knows, or you
did you listen to the example I gave? I said the man is impotent, but he's not bold enough to tell his wife that he is impotent. So
okay.
The wife went behind and did her findings and figured out her husband is impotent. And then she's like, okay, make I help this man cover in shame. So she had to go outside, had an entanglement with another person. But because the man already knows that he has not informed the wife that he's impotent, then all of a sudden they assume that, oh, it's a miracle from God. But the man deep down knows that this child is not his, but because he's trying to cover up his shame and decides to live in it for years. So that is the area I'm trying to go to, not because I don't understand what fraud. Some people do fraud like you are saying that fraud is not only when you are aware or when you're, I don't even know how you put that statement, but
no, I said if the man is aware that he is impotent and a child comes from nowhere, and he knows deep down that the child does not belong to him, I don't see it as paternity fraud. I think paternity fraud is when you think you can give woman belle. Like, you think your fertility is top, and then you have children and you think those children are yours, and then you eventually find out that they are not yours. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah. So some men are impotent. They are keeping it a secret, and then boom, their wife comes home with a child. They know that the child is not theirs. So it's not fraud on their end, because you yourself, you were being.
What do you think fraud is eventually? What's the general word for fraud?
Fraud is it's
It's
deceiving.
right. It's exactly, fraud is deceit.
Deceit.
Fraud is a criminal act. Fraud is a lot of things. So you saying that the fact that the man is aware means it's not a fraud, because as now the woman is assuming that her husband probably thinks that he can actually impregnate her, but the man already knows that he's impotent. So the man is just living in the lie and deceit just to cover up his shame. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not fraud. Fraud is fraud at the end of the day.
Okay, so it means that the two of them were defrauding each other.
Yes.
Okay, so it's cross fraud.
Kind of.
Okay. So I think from my own end, what I think causes paternity fraud, especially amongst Nigerian women, she already mentioned entanglement. That is, people, you are getting married next month and you need to go back to that ex of yours to go get closure and to go get some, and then instead of you to go there with at least some condoms or go there with at least some contraceptives, you decided to go there and carry belle. And then some of them do not even know, some of these women do not know that the child that they are carrying does not belong to their husbands, because it's mixed. They probably came down from the man's bed and jumped onto the other person's bed, because the wedding is next week, and she felt like, before I get the vows, I need to go back to this boy and go get some. And now it has mixed, so now she doesn't even know, especially when the resemblance between the father of the child is not there. And you know, sometimes whose presence when who is present when a child is in the womb, sometimes the child tends to resemble the papa. So say your papa, so you say you resemble your papa, no means say naim, but you could be an environmental factor. And then my second one is resentment. So there are women that are married to men that they hate. Like, they hate this man. They are married to him probably because the father and the other father, they have a relationship, and they're like, for us to see this relationship, you need to marry my daughter or you need to marry my son. And then the man has this kind of attitude that they do not like. Some of them do not even enjoy sex with their husbands. Once they are done, they just flush it away, and they hate the man so much that they don't even, because it takes a woman who likes you at least to want to have your child. So this woman, he resents him. She doesn't even want to have an offspring for him. So what she wants now is to have a child for herself, not with this man, which is a very wicked thing to do. You know, it's better you just pull out. Another one is how do they call that thing for agriculture? You know, he was telling me about his elder brother's wife, who was always coming at him, trying to seduce him to have his fruit. Why? Because he's tall, he's light skinned, he's very, very, very handsome, and he's very book smart. But the elder brother is an opposite of him. Like, the elder brother has the mother's genes. He's shorter, you know, he didn't go to school when others were going, and he's very toutish. So he doesn't like the guy. He doesn't, you know, women, they want to have, they have a certain expectation of the offspring that they want to have. So they want to pick a particular kind of gene and mix it with theirs. Like, not, I want to father it. I want my pikin. I want to make my pikin be like this person, right? Even if this child does not pick this one, he will pick this one. But this one, why they marry, I don't like him. I don't want my pikin be like this. So what she does is to go and ask for the guy. So now she feels like she feels like even if a DNA is carried out, it's still not going to exactly show that the child does not belong to the brother, the guy, the husband, because the stuff was done with the brothers with the brother, with the husband's brother. I don't know if you understand what happened. Okay, I don't know if you understand. So what I'm trying to say is, he wants the child to, you know, look like the husband's brother. So now she went to seduce the guy, feeling like, okay, it's nothing. After all, na the same blood. Your brother blood, now you get them. So if there is a DNA done on that particular family, they will most likely not detect it. If the blood, if their blood relationship is very, close tight. So that is another one. Them picking who they want for their offsprings. Another thing is, all these reasons I'm giving, I'm not giving excuses. Sorry, all of them are very, very wicked things to do. You cannot be married to a man that you don't want to have children for. If you don't want to have children, tell him you don't want to have children. If you are tired of living with him, if you resent him so much, you leave him alone, right? If you want your children to have certain genes, maybe you see a Chinese man that has coily hair, you want your child to have a coily hair, somehow you want to cross the Chinese man so your child will look like, then you shouldn't get married at all. You can do the single mother thing and continue crossing and continue picking genes of how you want your children to look. Okay, so another thing that I want to add into this thing is that during a DNA test that confirms that the child is not the child, the father is not, the man is not the father of the child, before you start getting mad, you should also do a maternity test to confirm that the woman is the mother of the child. If you confirm that the woman is the mother of the child and then the child is not yours, then na she comot, go carry the pikin come, she know wetin she do. But there is a possibility that the fact that you are not the father of the child, she is also not the mother of the child. It depends on, I know that we are no longer in that era where people swap babies, when people used to sell children, but it still happens, right? Especially because most of the people who find out this paternity fraud thing are millennials. Gen Zs, we never started to do those kind of things. In fact, they say our mother generations were better, but now them they commit paternity fraud past. So I don't know why you people are contradicting these things. So now, let's say the paternity fraud is on a child who is 20 years old. A 20-year-old child was born in 2005. And as at 2005, swapping of babies was a thing before they started taking drastic measures. So before you vex say your 20-year-old son no be your own, please make sure that he is also the son of the mother, so that when this woman is pleading not guilty, she would not be punished for what she did not do, right? Because sometimes when I used to ask, did you people confirm if this child belongs to the woman as well? So if the child belongs to the woman as well and does not belong to you, now that time problem go dey. Another thing is, if you want to go for a DNA test, I used to say it, that it should be a secret. So let's say somebody wants to go for a DNA test now. I think it's advisable that they go without the knowledge of their partner. If the man wants to do a DNA test, they should go without the knowledge of their partner. Because let's say I am your wife and you start questioning the paternity of your child, and I am sure that I'm not playing hanky-panky since I got married to you, and only you I know, before and after we got married, and then you are claiming that the child is not yours, and then I find out, even if I find out 5 years later, that at some point you wanted to confirm if the child belongs to you, I'm not going to be happy. Like, we are not going to be the same again. I don't know if you understand. Maybe coming from a perception of a woman, imagine waking up one morning and finding out that your husband once questioned the paternity of your child. It means that they do not even trust you as a spouse. So I think, to be on the safe side, if you want to go for a DNA test, I do not say you should not go, but it should be a secret. You know why? So that if it comes out negative, you will be on a safe side. Your curiosity will be healed. And then if it comes out positive, anything where you won't do at that time, you can now blow up and be like, I went for this and this is what I found out. Except it's most times people find out maybe when there's a health problem with the child and stuff. So what do you think should be the sanction? Because I hate the fact that it's so unfair that paternity fraud is carried out against a man and nothing happens. I've never seen any woman being convicted for deceit, and it's a very deceitful thing to do.
For sanctions, to be very honest with you, I've not really placed my mind around the sanction, but I feel like It should be treated the same way as maternity fraud. It should be treated the same way as rape. It should be treated the same way as, I don't know. I really can't place my head around it, but at the end of the day, paternity fraud is fraud, and it should be treated as much ways as possible that it's going to point out as a crime. That's just what I think.
So personally, for me, yeah, I understand that the man is actually hot and trying to decide if he should keep the daughter and keep seeing her as a daughter, or if he should just rather walk away to protect his heart. I advise him to do both. Why? Because it's very hard for a man to forgive that kind of situation. And even if the man forgives that kind of situation, I would tell you for a fact that he would never ever see
Stop
the wife
talking about it.
the same again. Even if he decides to keep it to himself and let it go, he would never forget. And it will cause resentment, hatred. So there's no point staying, yeah? But if you can father a child that is not yours, like you cannot just adopt a child and, okay, you know, this child is not mine, but I love him enough to give him my name, then I don't think it will be indifferent with this particular child. I understand that the child.
So, guys, moving on to the dilemma, yeah? This person said, I've been raising my daughter for 8 years, only just to find out through a DNA test that she isn't mine. Wow. My wife admitted she cheated back then. Now I am torn. Do I keep being a father to a child who calls me daddy but isn't my blood? Or do I just walk away and protect my heart? What would you do? What would you do in this situation?
Okay, the thing is, he used the word cheating back. So what it means is that he cheated first, and then the wife
No,
cheated
like
and came back with souvenir.
she cheated back then. Like,
And now cheating back was what resulted to the child as a souvenir.
no, not like when she like she cheated back before, I think before they became married or something,
Let me
or
see.
she didn't, like, not like he cheated and then she cheated backwards.
Okay, she cheated back then.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know, they used to say that men do not forgive cheating, but some do when they notice that nobody has heard of it. So you should think about it. If you are not going to resent her, you're not going to hate, like if you hate what she did to you, if you hate her, just let her go.
I actually think the conversation of cheating back then came in after he had already found out that the daughter wasn't his. So it was probably like she was trying to, like, okay, baby, may I just tell you the truth? Oh, sweetie, so back there, I've been cheating on you that time, you get. So it wasn't like as if he knew that she cheated back then. It was because of the whole issue of her not, the child not being his. They started had to, like, okay, let me just tell you the truth. I cheated back then, and then I had a baby for this guy, so apparently she's not yours. Not like he knew that she cheated.
That's 8 years later.
Yeah.
I say I think he should leave, because he will never forgive her. It would take a strong sense of selflessness for you to forgive that kind of a thing, right? And then for him to even be asking to what to do, I think he low-key wants to be with her, because if he doesn't want to, he's not even going to think of it twice. He will just do it straight up, right? Just let her go.
So in essence, the advice I will give to him is do the two of them. Take the child and keep her as yours, and leave to protect your heart. Because from the way you're sounding, it sounds like it's something that you cannot take and you cannot forgive. Leave to protect your heart, but still keep the child as yours. Let her be your daughter. Still give her that name. Still love her like you would love your daughter. And still care for her like you would cater for your actual daughter, because she literally raised her from, like, so to me, she's just your daughter. That's the advice I would give.
Okay, so what I think is there is something called emotional damage. Aside the money wasted, the energy. Me, I'm very big on energy. You waste all that years and all that time, apart from the money. If you feel like the emotional damage that this fraud has cost you is what you getting justice for, I think that lady should be arrested. Yeah, I think she should be arrested. I think you should arrest her for this. I don't know why there is no Nigerian law supporting it, but I believe that if you go to the law court, there must be something. It could be deceit. People are see, they arrest people for fraud. They arrest people for deceit. You can use it against her arrest the person. Because sometimes I tell you that when somebody gets arrested and jailed, it gives you a level of satisfaction. Saying walk away, leave them, go leave the marriage, do this, do this, do this. It might not give you that satisfaction. There is this thing that justice does for you. So if you are there and people's reaction differs, you cannot hurt people and tell them how to react. If this person wants to react in a way that they want to forgive you, fine and good. If this person wants to react in a way that they want to walk away and abandon you with the child, good and fine. If they want to be in the child's life and leave you, fine and good. If they also want to do you strong thing by arresting you, make you so that you will pay with your blood and sweat, it is also fine and good. So far, I believe that we've been able to talk about what we feel the causes are and what we feel the consequences should be, and how to also go about it. Like I talked about, if you want to go for DNA test and you're not very sure, you should make sure your spouse is not very aware. And if the results comes out and it's negative, make sure you tear it and take away every evidence to prove that you went. Because if they find out that at some point you ever questioned the paternity of their child and they are not guilty, it's also going to affect your marriage, right? So that one is also, and again, is while you are checking the paternity of the child, also confirm the maternity of the child. That's my conclusion for today's podcast. And thank you very much for waiting up to this moment. We hope to see you next week. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, and to share this content. As you can see, this is our baby, and we're trying to grow it. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.